Welcome back to my views and news. Fano, Amhara, a popular front, Skandar Naga faction has released a statement making 4 demands to put an end to the violence conflict in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. We'll try to have a detailed look at these 4 points made public today by Amhara Popular Front. Secondly, a top assassination in Bahir Dar, Amhara regional capital. Just yesterday, a few hours ago rather, Daniel Kibret, the special advisor to Ethiopian PM Abiy, said that Bahir Dar was being liberated. Robbers were being pushed out of Bahir Dar, but an assassination is being confirmed in Bahir Dar city. We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, Fano for the first time has released a list of demands. What does it want? The demands have been made public. Are Fano's demands similar to TDF's demands and maybe Ola's demands too? We'll have a look at the 4 demands which were mentioned today by Fano in a statement. Amhara Popular Front issued a statement. This faction, newly formed a few months ago, is led by Skandar Naga. The faction is working in alliance with other Fano factions. This faction is mainly based in Gojam, and Gojam is still very destabilized while Ethiopian forces, Amhara regional government, are trying to restore stability to Wollo, to parts of North Shoa. Situation in Gojam, East Gojam, West Gojam, still very volatile. Though Debre Morkos has come under ENDF control, but still several towns are under Fano control in West Gojam especially. So what does Fano want? Are its demands doable? First demand: PM Abiy must resign and a transitional inclusive government should be established. I think same demand was made by TDF too. Tigray forces, when they were in North Shoa, when they were in Amhara, they also said that the government, that PM should resign and there should be a transitional government, interim government, which should be formed after consultations. And back then, if you remember, TPLF held discussions in the US, and some groups from Oromia, from Gambela, Afar, etc., they formed an alliance. Around 9 or 10 groups formed an alliance, and TPLF tried to create an alternative political setup. But then Tigray fighters suffered a military setback in Amhara and they had to retreat. So same call. Ola also wants a transitional government. A few days ago, when talks were held in Zanzibar, Tanzania, between Ola and Ethiopian federal government representatives, after that we heard reports that Ola was demanding the establishment of a transitional government in Oromia. And before Ola, we know that Oromo Federalist Congress and Oromo Liberation Front last year formed an alternative setup, an alternative government in Oromia, but that setup did not receive lots of support from the Oromia region. So first demand is similar. Ola and TDF, they have been demanding the same. But PMR, and by the way, if you remember a few days ago, the arrested MP from the Amhara region, Christian Tadare, also asked PM Abiy to step down. But PM Abiy said the election will be held on time after this government completes its tenure. Second demand from the Fano fighters is that Ethiopian National Defense Force must not obey the orders of Abiy Ahmed government, and ENDF should rally behind the new transitional inclusive government. And I think again the same demand. Tigray leaders back then, when the war was ongoing, asked ENDF members to join Tigray Defense Force, and they asked ENDF members to not comply with the orders of federal government. Third demand is about the role of other Ethiopian nationalities and groups. Fano fighters want other groups in Ethiopia to speak to support this struggle of Fano fighters to put an end to instability in the country. Fano is, as I said earlier, TPLF created an alliance in the US with involvement of 9 or 10 groups. Ola has some allies too. If you remember, Ola and Gambela Liberation Front fighters worked in collaboration, though this alliance is broken now because GLF has signed a peace deal. Ola fighters worked last year in collaboration with fighters from Gambela and BG. So they have allies too. Fano wants allies too. Political allies, it seems, but so far we have not seen any statement from major groups in support of Fano. No statement from Oromia, no statement from Somali region, from Afar. In some southern areas of Ethiopia, some protests have been held against the unrest in Amhara. But all regional governments 2 days ago issued statements backing ENDF's operation against Fano in the Amhara region. And lastly, Fano wants international community to break the silence and condemn the massacres, the atrocities happening in the Amhara region. International community this time is silent. I'll do a separate video after a few hours about international community's role so far, or its response to the conflict in the Amhara region. So, demands are not new for me. Demands are similar to the demands of other Ethiopian armed groups. But none of these demands is going to be accepted by the government, it seems. And I don't think that time has come for start of negotiations, because a few days ago Fano fighters were on the offensive, and now ENDF is on the offensive. Fano fighters gradually going into defensive mode. Now ENDF will try to crush Fano. Let's see, let's hope. Though I propose talks should be held, because talks can bring lasting solution. Military solution is not a lasting solution. You cannot crush thousands of Fano fighters. They'll keep on coming back, I think. Secondly, viewers, another assassination in the Amhara region of Ethiopia, where several top members, security institutions, regional, city level members have been assassinated since the start of unrest in the Amhara region. Police chiefs assassinated, Prosperity Party members assassinated, Girmajitela assassinated. Now, an advisor to Amhara regional president has been assassinated. His name is Dasalin Asrate. Dasalin Asrate was assassinated in Bahir Dar, reportedly. Government-backed activists are accusing Fano, that Fano fighters assassinated Mr. Dasalin. Fano fighters are accusing the forces, that security forces killed him. Where was he killed? He was killed when he was out his house on a road going somewhere where he was killed. Most people say that Mr. Dasselin was assassinated. I think he worked as the head of Gondar administration too. So he is one of top officials of the Amhara regional government. It means that situation in Bahir Dar is still volatile, though Daniel Kibret, the advisor to the PM, claims that Bahir Dar is being liberated, but it will take some time, it seems. Even after Fano's expulsion from Gondar and Bahir Dar, no one can guarantee that Fano fighters won't enter the cities again. They might try to storm the cities again. And secondly, it's difficult to completely control law and order situation in entire Amhara region of Ethiopia. Fano fighters will revert to guerrilla war. They'll continue assassination, which they have been doing. They'll keep on fighting local government officials, local police officials and officers. So it's difficult to control Fano factions through just military operations. And I think it's difficult for Fano to achieve its objectives through military means. Fano maybe has realized in the last 1 week or so. So both sides should realize that military solution is not a lasting solution. Sooner or later they'll have to sit. I think federal government should make some sincere efforts, meaningful efforts to start dialogue with Fano. So far, no meaningful effort from Ethiopian federal government. And Fano's demands are so much that obviously Ethiopian government won't negotiate on these demands. The Fano will have to step back a little. Let's hope that the two sides learn from the 2-year-long war in Tigray and start dialogue. Thanks for watching.